think your opponent will be saying anything different this time around? Your opponent would be saying anything different this time around about you?
Well, they spent $7 million. I don't know how much more they could say about me. You know, they said quite a bit. I don't know what more they could say, and they still almost, you know, he still almost didn't win. You know,
have you seen the water thing done in other cities?
This is something that's actually very common all over the United States, where municipalities, you know, we don't own our own electric company. We don't own our own cable company. You know, why do we need to own our water company? You know, here's an asset that we have that we could use to financially set Hazleton up for decades and decades to come, if we do it right. And I believe I'm doing it right by putting it in an irrevocable trust so it can't be squandered or wasted by somebody else. But I didn't stop there, because I realized that, you know, we need another asset, and the solar energy is something else that, one, you know, I think it's good to do, and two, it's going to bring in more revenue. But it's that type of business sense that I believe that we're missing in Washington. You know, somebody that's coming from a business background. But again, to get back to your question, Rich, most of the water companies here in northeastern Pennsylvania are owned by one of these two companies that are interested in Hazleton's water company, Pennsylvania American Water and Aqua American. I believe Pennsylvania American is running the water system here, up in Scranton. So these are two of the country's top companies. So, you know, what we're going to offer the people of Hazleton is still good quality water at a reasonable rate, and I'm going to be able to lower their taxes, hire more police, take care of our infrastructure, and invest in Hazleton's future. The solar is something that I'm very proud of. You know, going back to, since I'm interviewing for this job, when you look at what I did with Hazleton, Hazleton was a coal mining town that destroyed the environment. Huge abandoned strip mines, coal banks, there was blighted buildings. When I took office in the year 2000, very first thing I did is I acquired 3 city blocks of property in downtown Hazleton, the most blighted section of town. I put out an RFP over the internet for any architect or engineer who had a unique idea for housing, because I truly believe that if I was going to get the downtown revitalized again, that we had to bring residential people there first. You had to have people living in your downtown, and then the businesses would follow. We put out an RFP. I hired a company from Madison, Wisconsin that designed the Pine Street neighborhood homes. They're very unique because of all the materials that are used. For example, the shingles are recycled rubber tires. They'll never go in a landfill. After 50 years, they'll be recycled again. The city received $166,000 from DEP because of that factor. Solar panels. All of the materials inside had to meet special qualifications, so there are no gases emitted into the air. So if you had a child with allergies or asthma, the air quality in these homes are better than any other home. Fiber cement siding. Doorways are wider, countertops lower, receptacles are higher, so if anyone with a disability, they could live there independently. These homes not only won a statewide award, but they won a national award as well. 300 acres of abandoned mine, and that was out of the box thinking. Every home was sold, and we have a waiting list for us if we build more, and I'd like to expand that neighborhood. 300 acres of abandoned mine lands in the city, something I've lived with my entire life. It was at the point where we didn't even notice them anymore because we just saw them every day. But when you think about it, when people would come and want to look at Hazleton as a possible place for a business, this looked like we were bombed. They were dredging the Delaware in Philadelphia so that the port, they couldn't get the ships in. They needed 45-foot depth to get the ships in the port in Philadelphia. The material that they were dredging, they didn't have a place for. I had a hole, they had material, we made the marriage. The city received $2 a cubic yard for the material that was being trucked to Hazleton. Every load is tested 3 times to make sure that Nothing toxic was coming to Hazleton. We're filling the 12 million cubic yards of material it will take to fill this hole. It's a massive pit. We're going to eliminate acid mine drainage that is contaminating the Little Nescopec Creek, which goes into the Susquehanna, which goes into the Baltimore Harbor. When we reclaim the mine lands and bring it back to beneficial use, we're going to build, a developer is going to build a 20,000 seat open air amphitheater on top of it. It will be surrounded by much what's happened here with Wachovia Arena. You'll see restaurants, stores, and jobs. It'll be Hazleton's largest economic development project. When you combine that with the solar project that I'm planning for at the airport, Hazleton, which was a one-time coal mining town that destroyed the environment, will be a leader in Pennsylvania in innovative thinking for housing, for land reclamation, and for energy.
Well, what is the status of the sale of the water authority and the solar project? Where are you at?
Well, I got some pushback from the authority board members and the employees at the authority who didn't want to see the authority owned by a private company. So I had agreed, I hired a lawyer from Washington, D.C. that has vast experience in selling water companies and also representing authorities against the sale. So we brought him on board, and I talked with the water authority, and we're sharing in the cost of this attorney. And we're going to leave the sale of the authority on the table, but I agreed to let's exhaust all options to see if there's anything that the authority could do to bring revenue into the city without selling the authority. So we're going to do that first, and this way I know that you know, I've asked for any other ideas that anybody might have other than selling the authority, other than raising taxes, because I really do believe we have to roll these taxes back. People can't afford it. So that's what we're doing right now. We're actually making sure we're exhausting every other idea, and there are other ideas. For example, ideas that I never thought of, possibly bottling spring water. You know, there's springs that the water authority owns 7,000 acres of land. So in some of those, you know, there's some springs there. We'll see what kind of revenue we could get from bottled water and some other ideas. If we can't bring enough revenue into the city, and I don't want to put a Band-Aid on the city's financial situation, because I believe just down the road they'll have the same problems again, because it's an aging infrastructure, it's an older city, you know. So we're going to exhaust all options first and then proceed with the sale if we can't come to some other agreement.